Right, DJI's released yet another firmware update for the Action 5 Pro. So this firmware version is 01.03.02.01 and this was released on the 26th of November 2024. And in this particular update, we'll have 7 new features. And the first new feature on the list is added support for the DJI Mic Mini. The second one on the list there is added support for recording at 4K 4.3 aspect ratio with the videos in time-lapse mode. The third one is added support for customizing the function of the quick switch button. The fourth one is an added option in settings to disable the always on display feature in single screen preview. The fifth one on the list is added support for super slow motion videos in the 4.3 aspect ratio. Now this will only apply when you're filming in 100 frames per second or higher. The sixth one on the list is added support for the UVC standard. And the seventh one on the list is added support for importing sports data to the DJI Mimo app. And the last one there, which DJI always put on the end, is fix some minor bugs. Although this is the latest firmware version which has been released on the 26th of November, just 2 weeks prior to this, DJI released another firmware update, and that was really highlighting the super night mode, so that's why this video is going to be all about the super night mode. And let's just hope there's a different comparison in the footage. So now that we've lightly covered the release notes, let's get on with the video. And now I've just opened the Mimo app and it's prompting me there that there's a new firmware available, so we'll just tap to update. As I've just said, the main reason which has attracted me to update to the latest firmware on the Action 5 Pro is the Super Night mode. Because on the last 2 updates, they did look rather cartoony, especially on the original first one. On the second one, it wasn't too bad, but you could tell it wasn't quite there yet. So I'm hoping with this third update from DJI for the Action 5 Pro, it's going to be a better overall image in Super Night mode. Right now it's hit 50% on the Mimo app. We're just going to hit install and then it's going to start updating the Action 5 Pro to the latest firmware. Here we go. And now that's the update complete. That's took about 3 minutes to get to 100% there. So now we'll just click done. And as you can see, we've got the green light on the Action 5 Pro. So now we know everything's been updated. Now that the Action 5 Pro is updated successfully to the latest firmware, I'm going to wait till the sun sets, and then approximately 30 minutes after the sun has set, I'm going to then switch over to the Super Night mode and test the latest firmware version and do a side-by-side comparison of the old version versus the new version. So let's get that footage. Here we go. So I'm interested in doing a side-by-side comparison. At the moment, you're viewing the old firmware on the Super Night mode at 4K 30, Rocksteady enabled standard dewarp. And what I'm going to do is update this tomorrow and come out at the same time, which is exactly 30 minutes after sunset, and I'm going to do the same walk. Everything's going to be the same settings, and then again we'll do a side-by-side comparison, walking this same path with the old firmware versus the new firmware in Super Night mode. So as you're seeing this right now, this is on the old firmware and I've as yet not updated it, but reading into it, the only difference I can see is it should be a better overall image quality, and you'll be able to record up to 60 frames per second in 4K. What you're looking at the moment is a 4K 30 clip, so to keep it a fair comparison, I'll keep the new version at 4K 30. I've got approximately 3 minutes until these street lamps come on, and that's my little sign to start doing the same walk with the same footage and the same settings. So just 3 more minutes to wait. So now this is the latest firmware through the Mimo app with Action 5 Pro. And can we see any difference with the side-by-side, which I'm going to put up soon, with this new Super Night mode? Now the only difference being on the Super Night mode, hopefully this latest firmware version's got a lot more sharpness and clarity, which it really does look through the front OLED screen there, a lot more than the previous version. The only difference being you can do 4K up to 60 frames with the new version. On the previous version you can only go 4K 30. So that's why I'm filming on this newly released version at 4K 30, because I want an identical side by side. As you can see, the street lamps are on. It's exactly the same time, so hopefully this is going to be a real good match on the side by side comparison. So just before I put up the side by side comparison, I'm just letting you know that everything's identical. It's the same time, the same conditions, the same lighting, even the same clothes. That way I'm going to get a real good idea if there's any change at all in this super night mode. So I hope you enjoyed that comparison video with the new update, and I really do hope that DJI's successful in this latest firmware version with the Action 5 Pro with the Super Night mode. Or is there going to be yet another update and another and another? Let's just hope there isn't, and this looks a lot better than the previous two versions of Super Night mode. So as always, do stay tuned to the channel. There's going to be plenty more videos in the near future, especially when any firmware updates get released, especially with this Action 5 Pro. So for now, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and bye for now.